We all aspire to live a good life, but doing so isn't always easy. Perhaps we know that we should help others in need, tell the truth, and have the courage to stand up against bullies, but we still struggle to do the right thing. In other cases, it's not always clear what exactly the right thing to do is. When helping others, how much of our own projects should we sacrifice? And should we really be honest all of the time? Wouldn't that be unnecessarily offensive in a lot of cases? Thinking thoroughly and carefully about what our moral duties, values, and principles are and should be is the core of ethics. Ethics, or moral philosophy, is a branch in philosophy where moral issues and questions are analyzed and discussed in systematic, nuanced, and critical ways. What moral duties do we have towards others? And how should we weigh off different values? How can we become a better person? Now, most people don't need philosophers to tell right from wrong. They have moral intuitions about all kinds of things, even if they never read a philosophical treatise. If you were raised well, you probably know that you shouldn't harm others and that racism and sexism are wrong, for example. Having internalized such moral norms and values, your day-to-day decisions and interactions with others are already governed by these norms and values, and you have become a moral person without thinking all too hard about intricate ethical questions. That doesn't mean that ethics is superfluous. It can help us figure out what we should do in difficult circumstances. How should we deal with moral dilemmas, for example, where values conflict and each of the options seems problematic in some sense? In addition, ethics can help us challenge our moral intuitions and our society's value systems. Reading a book on animal ethics, for example, can make you realize that the interests of pigs and chickens also matter, which in turn can make you reconsider your eating habits. Moral philosophers can also play a role in moral and social progress throughout history. Harriet Taylor and John Stuart Mill, for example, were amongst the first to stress gender equality and the need for women's empowerment. While we now take equal rights for granted, they were fought for in the past, and ethicists have been helping to identify the wrongs and injustices that lack moral justification. Within ethics, different theories provide different answers to the ethical question how to live your life. According to consequentialists like Jeremy Bentham, you should always aim to have the best possible impact on the world around you. According to deontologists like Immanuel Kant, you should respect moral principles such as human dignity and human rights. According to virtue ethicists like Aristotle, you should try to become a better person and develop virtues such as generosity, kindness, and courage. And according to care ethicists like Virginia Held, you should act out of compassion and care for those people with whom you have particular relationships, like your parents and your friends. In general, each of these ethical approaches makes sense and highlights an important aspect of morality. Consequences obviously matter, but so do principles, virtues, and caring attitudes. Figuring out exactly what these mean and entail in everyday life is a complex but important task for all of us who want to lead a good life.